Hello, everyone. Welcome to the FTC Virtual Showcase. I'm Daniel from Team Wolf Corp, and I'll be your host for this showcase. I hope you are all doing well during these tough times, and it's great that everyone can make it. Last Sunday, we were supposed to have the showcase, but due to technical difficulties, we weren't able to get it running. However, we're all good now, and hopefully the showcase will go smoothly. This showcase is currently live at our Facebook page at Team Wolf Corp, and we'll also be recording the showcase and sending it out after it ends. Additionally, we'll be posting it on social media such as YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. We also want to give out a shout out to FRC Team 1836 Milk and Knights for inspiring us to do something like this. Talking about the team that inspired us, our team would like to share who we are and why we are doing this. We're Corp Robotics from Whitney High School near Los Angeles. We're a fourth-year FTC team and eighth-year FIRST team. For people who aren't familiar with FIRST, we're a robotics competition for grades pre-K to 12th with various levels of competition, and our presenters and us are all in FIRST Tech Challenge, or FTC. We build robots of 18 by 18 by 18 inch size and compete usually in 12-foot by 12-foot playing fields. This year, for all of us, our FTC season ended soon after the coronavirus pandemic hit. We were notified that we couldn't go to Worlds, and although we knew it was the right move by FIRST, we were still disappointed and sad. However, instead of staying idle during these times, we saw Milk and Knight's FRC showcase and said, hey, we can also do this for FTC and share experiences and knowledge to the rest of the FIRST community, as well as spread FIRST and STEAM to people who don't know about it. Although we can't do person-to-person contact, we can share it through the internet and through platforms like Zoom. And so through the internet, here's a map of who we've connected to. From Alaska to Africa to Australia, we've reached 100 plus teams in 4 continents. Now I would like to introduce our first presenter of the day, World's Inspire winner, Root -1.
Hi, my name is Bryant Cassidy, and I am one of the founding members of FTC Team 9879 Root -1, affiliated with the Don Tyson School of Innovation in Springdale, Arkansas. Our team was founded during the 2015-2016 first rescue season, and I'm wrapping up my senior year and final season with the team. We thought we would begin by sharing some thoughts about the progression of our team from our rookie season to our 4th season, Rover Ruckus, during which we won FTC's top award, the Inspire Award, at the FTC World Championship in Houston. In our rookie season, we knew our lack of experience would lead to struggles in the robot game, but we also knew that we could be competitive in other aspects of FTC, so we dedicated a lot of time and energy into establishing outreach and team building activities, creating a solid engineering notebook, and preparing detailed judging presentations. We were good enough in the robot game to be judged as the Oklahoma Inspire Award winner and advance to the South Super Regional. After our first season, we knew that we could take advantage of the off-season to develop a more complete team. Through summer technical training, our mechanical and control skills improved, and our Velocity Vortex robot was competitive at the qualifier level. Our expanded outreach activities led to the Connect Award at the Oklahoma Championship and the South Super Regional, leading to our first ever invitation to the World Championship. During our 3rd season, Relic Recovery, we were finally able to adhere to a complete engineering design process. We developed a custom robot that was competitive at high levels, and we were a member of the Arkansas Winning Alliance. We also won the Arkansas Inspire Award and were one of 4 finalists for the Inspire Award at the Houston World Championship. Getting so close to the Houston Inspire Award was incredibly motivating for our team. Before the Rover Ruckus season, we developed a new strategic plan with ambitious goals for setting our team apart from our competitors. For the first time, we were able to develop a robot that was world-class in all aspects of the game. In Alabama, we were the Winning Alliance Captain and Inspire Award winner, and at the Houston World Championship, we were incredibly fortunate to be selected as the Inspire Award winner. Being the Houston Inspire Award winner has been amazing for our team. We were selected to be Team USA at the 2019 First Global Challenge in Dubai, and we gained access to industry and community organizations as well as local, state, and national political leaders. We consider our mission to try to inspire other teams by sharing what we think led the Houston judges to pick us for the Inspire Award. Today, we will share 3 things that we believe helped us stand apart in Houston. First, the foundation of our team's work is our strategic plan. Our one-page strategic plan includes a broad vision of our team and the strategic actions in 3 areas: robotics engineering, organizational development, and community engagement. Our strategic plan guides our actions and allows us to measure our success. We even use our plan to organize our presentation to the judges. At the end of every season, we grade ourselves according to the strategic actions outlined in our plan and define what actions we can take to improve our grade in each category. Second, we are committed to the engineering design process. After the game reveal, we set requirements and use those requirements to guide us through conceptual design, prototyping, physics-based design using 3D CAD, fabrication of custom parts, assembly, and testing. We do not allow our design ideas to be swayed by mid-season YouTube videos or teams that perform better than us at early competitions. Our commitment to our design process gives us a more meaningful story to share with the judges. Third, we pride ourselves in our written and oral communication skills. We provide judges with 2 notebooks. One notebook, which we call our Engineering Notebook Supplement, has information about our team, outreach activities, and a summary of our final robot design and control systems. But what we believe makes us stand out is our traditional, handwritten engineering notebook that tells a detailed and chronological story of our design process. We use a structured workflow to manage the development of the notebook and allow all team members to contribute. Because we have a limited amount of time and a lot of information to share in the judging room, we use a scripted presentation that is rehearsed many times. We have worked year-round for 5 years, so we have to choose the words that we use very carefully to give the judges the breadth and depth that they expect from a top team. We are sure to highlight things that make us unique, and we evenly split our presentation between technical and non-technical material, and everyone on our team has a speaking part. We also use PowerPoint slides and our robot to facilitate our team's presentation. Our Rover Ruckus presentation is available on the Inspire tab at our team's website at ftc9879.weebly.com. Thank you for including our team in this showcase, and we look forward to hearing from all of the other teams.
Thank you, Root -1, for a great presentation. I hope everyone learned from their journey in winning the Inspire Award at the World Championships in Houston. As Marlbots, Motivate winner, and LA First Inspire and Winning Alliance first pick gets ready, I hope everyone is enjoying the showcase.
Hi, we're the Marlbots, FTC Team 3526 from MoVal School, an all-girls school in Los Angeles. I'm Emma, I'm one of the co-captains, and today we're going to give a short presentation on how we think we were able to win Inspire and be on the Winning Alliance at Los Angeles Regionals this year.
Hey guys, I'm Tommy, and here at the Marlbots, our mission statement is to serve underprivileged communities in the LA area, encourage girls to enter STEM fields, and provide leadership opportunities to our members. So I'm going to talk a little bit about our process for getting the Inspire Award. So as you can see in these photos, or if you've ever just seen us during competitions, all members of our team wear purple capes. An important part of Inspire is being memorable to the judges, and these capes set a clear way for judges to identify us. But we don't just wear these capes because they're unique and fun to wear. We also wear them because they tie into our brand as superheroes that serve our community. And sure, setting a unique brand for your team is important, but what really makes your team memorable is the follow-through. And one way to show this is through your outreach. Remember, it's always more memorable if your outreach is either related to your mission statement or your brand in any way. Showing is always better than telling.
Hi, I'm Catherine, and I'm going to be talking to you guys about judging. To Tommy's point about creating a strong brand, judging is a great way to show this because you can show how each aspect of your team connects back to the brand. To make a strong judging presentation, you want it to be personable because the judges have many presentations to listen to, and you don't want them to groan when it gets to you. You want the judges to circle back to you like in these photos, so make it so that they are interested in coming back to you. In the initial judging presentation, you aren't trying to go super into depth. You want to get on the judges' shortlist for an award. We do this by saying buzzwords that undeniably prove that we deserve the award. You want it to be a fact that you have completed the necessary things for award because you can't go against objective reasoning.
Hello, I'm Sophia. I'm the other co-captain, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the Inspire Award and how team structure factors into that. Team structure is a big part of our team. Like our mission statement says, we provide leadership opportunities to our members through our team lead system. In addition to team captain, we have 5 different leads for technical and non-technical parts of the team. Another big part of our team is team bonding. It might sound silly and like a waste of time, but we firmly believe that without our team bonding, we would not have done as well as we did this year. Team bonding can be as easy as going to lunch or as hard as going roller skating. Team bonding can even be a game of cards. As you can see in these photos, we went rock climbing and ice skating for team bonding activities.
So now that we've talked about some things we focus on for Inspire, we're going to move on to some of the important parts of planning and building a robot. One thing that's really important to us is our design process. We spend a lot of time planning our robot before we build anything. Our entire robot is CADed collaboratively using Onshape, and we prioritize this CAD and initial planning over getting a perfect robot from zero. Using CAD so extensively helps us refine our designs of each mechanism before we even start building. Once our robot's constructed, we're still always looking to improve and are constantly looking for new ideas on platforms such as YouTube, Reddit, and Chief Selfie.
Hi, I'm Nina, and as you all probably know, robotics takes a very long time, and especially building your robot. Something that's really helped us is setting hard and soft deadlines for everything, especially technical aspects of our robot. That way, we have ample amount of time for our autonomous or driver practice or just fixing different parts of the robot before the meets and competition.
Now we're going to tell you about our scouting. We use a quantitative spreadsheet that considers points earned in all 3 periods of gameplay, including bonuses at the end of the match. Compatibility is important, but we want the spreadsheet to be able to rank robots based on their ability to score and perform during their matches throughout the day. The spreadsheet is also really helpful when choosing a team during alliance selection. Here's a picture of the part of the spreadsheet for auto. It includes starting position for compatibility and accounts for all possible points earned during auto.
A big thank you to everybody for listening to our presentation, and another big thank you to Wolf Corp for hosting this webinar. If you have any questions or you'd like to contact us, our handles are right here. Feel free to shoot us a message anytime.
Thank you, Marlbots, for an excellent presentation. I hope everyone learned about buzzwords, shortlists, team structure, and hard and soft deadlines. Next up, we have Team Torch, Los Angeles Regionals winning Alliance Captain.
Well, hello, everybody. My name is Alex.
My name is Steven.
My name is Roniel.
And we are Team Torch, Team 5942, the high school robotics program for Centers of Learning located in North Hills, California. The school atmosphere allows for creativity and critical thinking, which enables us to thrive in innovation, teamwork, and productivity. Our coach mentors have also all been volunteers and been part of the program for many years. As a team, we strive to be a shining light for others in our school and our outreach to the community. We strive to be an example of teamwork, excellence, and gracious professionalism.
How did we win first place, Captain? It was a combination of strategy, teamwork, and having a plan of action. We saw that many people were choosing to master one skill. In this case, it was stacking stones. This had proven to be effective in scoring points, yet there were also teams who did not stack stones. A good thing to remember is to always be prepared for anything. This is why we decided to build a robot in a way in which we could hone our skills for a specific task and still be able to supplement for other tasks efficiently. We built a robot for speed and agility so we could deliver stones across the bridge quickly. We knew there were robots that did not stack, so we built a robot that could stack and move quickly on the field. It took countless hours of driver practice and scrimmaging with other teams to get to the point where we could drive quickly and maneuver effectively around the field while timing the grabber correctly.
If we can get a teammate that could stack high, we could take advantage of our speed and focus on delivering stones. On the other hand, if our teammate didn't stack 7 or even at all, we would combine our speed to stack as fast as we possibly could. Although our matchups were indeed randomized, once we knew who our alliance partners would be, we made sure to talk with each of our teammates and their teammates to find out what our strengths were. By making a game plan with our teammates before the match even started, we were able to find the most efficient strategy with the different skills each team presented.
When it comes to autonomous, the main point we were looking for was consistency. We realized that there are different factors that affect the way the robot moves, and sometimes we can't change those factors. For example, the way the field is put together may create bumps on the field. Another factor that affects the consistency of the robot is the battery voltage. This is why we change the battery every match and try to make our autonomous be able to compensate for each of the different factors that may be present.
Our plan of action was to accomplish our team's goal, going to LA Championships, committed to win every match. No easy task given the caliber of the teams in the LA area. We felt that if we were one of the fastest robots on the floor, along with our experienced drivers, It would give us a chance at accomplishing that goal. We felt that if we could move fast, we would catch the eye of the high stackers, since we could deliver stones as well as any team, if not better. We knew if we get first place, we would choose established stackers with strong autonomous point production to our alliance. We would choose two great teams that complemented our team and each other. Our drivetrain features 4 6-inch Mecanum wheels. We like these wheels because the large diameter give us higher speeds. They're directed by four Andy Mark classic motors on Everest Sport planetary gearboxes. This gave us speed, accuracy, and smooth motion with a durable, robust design. We decided on using 4 linear slide stages to have maximum reach with the greatest stability given the size constraint of the robot. We could stack 7 SKYSTONEs plus the capstone. We used 600-pound test non-stretch string after finding different strings would stretch and give us inconsistent results in our autonomous and teleop performance. Our SKYSTONE grabbers are powered by 2 high-torque, heavy-duty HS755 HV servos with steel gears and a large mounted servo blocks. The servo blocks kept the servo in one direction, allowing us for maximum transfer in torque and provide reliability. We improved the arm by adding high-friction adhesive back neoprene rubber sheets and high-torque servos to reduce the times the arm would drop the SKYSTONE.
The electronics we use are the new Rev Control Hub and a Rev Expansion Hub, which are all mounted on plywood boards to reduce static charge buildup. This was a big problem for us in the previous years, but fortunately, it wasn't a problem for us this year. The Rev Control Hub also allows us to only use one thumb instead of 2, which significantly reduced disconnection issues. Additionally, all the connections were wire wrapped, heat shrink, and labeled. Therefore, we were able to track a specific connection in case there was a disconnection issue. We did this to minimize disconnection issues and be able to specifically choose which module is affecting the robot. Well, thank you for listening to our presentation. If you'd like to know more information, please contact us at teamtorch5942@gmail.com. You can also find us at Facebook at teamtorch5942. Take care, everybody, and stay safe.
Thank you, Team Torch, for an informational presentation. Hopefully, we all learned something about their robot design, how they dual purpose the robot, and how consistency is key. Now presenting is Whitney High School Robotics, Los Angeles Regional's first runner-up Inspire Award winner, and Control Award winner.
Hello, we're Team 542 WHS Robotics, and today we're going to be going over our second place Inspire and first place Control Award. So before we get started, on the bottom left-hand corner, you can see we do have a tiny URL address as well as a QR code you can scan to get linked to this presentation. So here we go. So on this slide, we kind of have a general Inspire strategy overview. Today, I'm going to be going over the 2 things highlighted in gold. For now, I'm just going to go over the things that aren't highlighted. So as Marlbots and Root-1 have emphasized already, having a good engineering notebook is key to winning Inspire. It provides the judges with any supplementary material you may not cover in your presentation, as well as the journey your team took throughout the season. It's also important to read Game Manual 1. Although it does change season to season, it's important because it gives you a rubric of what the judges expect in any kind of award-winning team. Also, it's also good to demonstrate your first core values at competition. This is going to be your gracious professionalism, your cooperation. So basically, you don't always want to just be scouting other teams. You want to be going up to them, talking to them, making friends, and also helping out if they're having problems with like the robot. And finally, having a good dedicated team and a good working environment is important to make sure everyone's willing to come to robotics and have fun at the same time. So in terms of our organization, we like to split our team into the 3 core sections of FTC. This can be our mechanical, our programming, and our outreach. So on the right-hand side, you can kind of see that's how we distribute and delegate our team members. Next, it's also key to be able to schedule and delegate your members efficiently, whether between your different subsystems on your robot, or just finding out generally when your team can meet at the same time. This also means you need to have a good communication software. This could be things like Trello. We use Slack, but it also could be like Discord. Those all work as long as everyone checks it constantly. Next, it's also good to use your mentors, not only for robot and programming, but mentors also provide you with good outreach and grant opportunities. These grant opportunities kind of lead me into my next point of thinking sustainably. You need your team. Any good Inspire team will have to think about sustainability. This means you need to think how you're going to sustain your team through every year, whether it be through your finances or how you attract new members to your team. So you always need to be thinking about that, not only at the end of the season, but throughout the entire season itself. So in terms of judging and presentation, as Root -1 emphasized, practice is everything. You need to be practicing and presenting to your mentors, other teammates, or alumni to get that critical feedback to optimize your presentation, because timing is everything. Bringing in boards, handouts like you see on the right-hand side, even your robot, kind of helps because it gives the judges a visual and something you could point to give the judges something that that kind of emphasizes all your points. It's also good and very standard to be professional, look the judge in the eye, no mumbling, and also having a clean presentation. Make sure you emphasize the key points you want to, key points about your team and what sets your team apart from the rest of the competition. Be confident and happy always is a good thing as well. And finally, your teammates, all of them, need to be knowledgeable enough to answer any Q&A questions in the pit, or at least redirect your team to the judge to the teammate who would know the answers to any of the judges' questions. So now I'm going to throw it over to Varun with our programming.
Hi, I'm Varun, and today I'm going to be talking about a brief overview of what we believe led to us winning Control Award this year. So on the side, we have a general list of things that I thought would be helpful, and I'm going to go into more depth on each of them. So one of our main reasons for winning Control that I believe led us to winning Control was our autonomous navigation library. We used drivetrain encoders and the IMU to create a localization program that would basically find our X and Y coordinate on the field. And you can see that on the diagram on the right. And we also, using that, we were able to make rotate and drive to target, which used PID controllers to rotate to a certain angle and drive to a certain position on the field. And finally, this year, we added swerve to target, which basically uses an adaptive pure pursuit controller to drive in curved paths around the field. And you can see that on the diagram on the bottom. As you can see, we pass in a bunch of waypoints, and the robot uses those waypoints to drive in smooth curved paths. And next, for computer vision, we tried many different possible solutions for detecting the SKYSTONE. Some easy ones were using a color sensor to differentiate between the black SKYSTONE and the yellow stone. And we also tried using the Vuforia app built into the FTC robot controller app. And you can find tutorials on both of these online on First YouTube channel. We also have a slightly more difficult one with DogeCV, which required a little bit of tuning and time to integrate efficiently. But we ended up choosing this because it was both the fastest and most precise. And finally, we tried developing our own vision library using TensorFlow that basically gave us the most customizability. But however, it was a little bit too difficult and a little slow, so we decided to use the DogeCV program. And finally, for teleop automation, when we were writing our code, we automated a lot of our functionality to reduce the likelihood of driver error. This could be like using PID controllers to control different subsystems and togglers to cycle through different states in our outtake. And this put less pressure on our drive team, allowing them to be more consistent when they were on the field driving. And on the next slide, we have a bunch of useful links that we found useful throughout the season. And you guys can check these out, and they help with many different aspects of our game, including Game Manual 1, like Ian mentioned, and a bunch of forums and videos that we found useful throughout the year. And thank you for listening to our presentation. Feel free to contact us at any time on our social media or our email. And thank you for listening to our presentation, and good luck next year.
Thank you, Whitney High Robotics, for that enjoyable presentation. I hope everyone learned about their Inspire strategy, the importance of PIT, and the robots programming. Next up, we have AlphaGenesis.
Hi, we're AlphaGenesis, team 6436. I'm Michelle.
I'm Nathan.
And I'm Benjamin.
So a little bit about our team. Our team is based in Hacienda Heights, and we all go to Glen A. Wilson High School. Our team started in 2012, but we changed our name in 2015 to AlphaGenesis. This year, our team was comprised of 12 members, with over 50% of us having no previous experience in robotics. We were able to win the Connect Award at League E and F2 Interleagues and Inspire 3 at Regionals. Our mission statement. Our goal is to introduce students to the opportunities and possibilities within STEM, expand their interest in STEM by keeping in contact with those who attend our events and hosting multiple events throughout the year. In addition, we meet with professionals in the industry to gain insight and learn from their experiences. We share the knowledge we learn with the hopes that we will equip the next generation of innovators with the skill set to find success in the STEM field. For tryouts, we first had an exploration camp to teach people basic build skills and introduce them to FTC. We then had an actual tryout period where we would give an application asking basic questions and saw how they utilized their build skills. All of these were taken into account of whether they would fit in well with our team. From there on, we had intense training camps with the new members, and since we were all relatively new, we had to do a lot of team building exercises and met up often during the summer to increase productivity.
A large part of our team is our outreach. Our outreach is made up of our very young Level Up program. The Level Up program consists of 4 main parts: pre-high school, high school, college, and career. Throughout this year's season, our team has participated in over 700 hours of outreach, reaching 2,000 plus people. Not only does our team host outreaches, but we also attend other teams' outreaches. Through these interactions, we're able to make connections with teams that are not in our area. One of the biggest outreaches we had this year was our Wilson STEM Fair. At the fair, we had keynote speakers who talked about their experiences in STEM. We also have booths, including companies such as Microsoft and STEM Cubed Academy. Our team strives to provide students with interest and growth in STEM. For our robot this year, we used the engineering design process for our robot design. Our robot has a 4-wheel mechanism drivetrain that would allow us to strafe and move efficiently around the field. We also had a servo claw for autonomous that would allow us to grab the stones without turning our robot. To collect stones, we decided to use a wheel intake that consisted of Andy-Mark compliance wheels. For our scoring and stacking mechanisms, we used vertical rev extrusions. Compared to other linear slides, we found them very smooth and space efficient. They are strung in a continuous pattern to prevent the error of having multiple strings, and it reduces the amount of torque needed to lift the scoring mechanism. For our horizontal extender, we chose to internally rig Actobotics X rows to control the outward and inward motion without relying on surgical tubing. We then have a grabber that holds the nub of the stones and freely rotates around to stack onto the foundation. This year, we were able to stack about 10 stones high, and we were able to feed about 14 stones during the 2-minute teleop period. Thank you for inviting us to the showcase, and thank you for listening to our presentation.
Thank you, AlphaGenesis, for a great presentation. Everyone should have learned something about how they exposed, expanded, and equipped their community, as well as how their robot works. Next up, we have Curiosity, Los Angeles Regional's Winning Alliance second pick.
Hello, everyone. We're Curiosity, an all-girls team from Marlboro School in Los Angeles, and our mission is to set an example for aspiring young scientists and to demonstrate what young women can accomplish in the world of STEM. Above all, we believe that it's essential to adhere to our core values of innovation, positivity, diligence, and curiosity. We were the Winning Alliance second pick at regionals, and we're looking forward to sharing our experience with you all today.
Hi, I'm Julianne, and I'll be talking about the initial design. So to be on the Winning Alliance, it's important to have a good and reliable robot, and this starts with the initial design and design process for the robot. When designing, it's important to think about how your robot will interact with others on the field. For example, during the SKYSTONE season, some robots would stack while others would deliver stones, and we wanted to ensure that our robot could do both so we could be allied with a wide range of different robots. Another way we considered interaction with other robots is in our design of the capstone. We went through many iterations of the capstone design, and we decided that it would be best to allow for another stone to be placed on top of our capstone so that we could double cap a tower. This was really helpful in some of the final matches during regionals because it led to us winning some really important matches there. And when going through iterations of your design, our team made sure to have deadlines for changes. For example, we changed our entire intake between ILT and regionals and made a deadline of 2 weeks before regionals to finish those changes so that we would have adequate driver practice with the new version of the robot. And finally, at the competition, it's important to have as many backup parts as possible because if something breaks in an unexpected way, you might need to replace it. And also, when you encounter a problem, whether it's during the competition or weeks before, try to think about a simple solution first because they are easier to modify and fix and will probably lead to fewer problems as you progress throughout the season.
Hi, my name is Grace, and I'm the senior captain and driver for Curiosity. So as Julianne mentioned, we had 2 weeks dedicated to driver practice leading up to regionals, and we set a goal of completing at least 43 realistic rounds of the match, and we reflected on how each round went using a driver log. We were also fortunate enough to have 4 robotics teams at our school, so we were able to do lots of driver practice with them, and we also had a few scrimmages with other teams in our league. So we would recommend practicing with your full drive team and with other teams if possible, whether they're from your own school or maybe just within your community. And another tip would be to practice under imperfect conditions. For instance, we place stones along the wall, making it harder to grab them. And we also had a teammate stand in the middle of the field to block our path. And lastly, we think that it's really important that both the drivers and the human players have a thorough understanding of the rules. That way, they can tell what will give you the most points even during the matches.
Hi, I'm Casey, and I am a part of the building team and pit crew. One of the most important parts of a good round is cooperation with your alliance partners. We like to make very detailed game plans with alliance partners pre-match and arrange where each robot needs to be at every moment, especially during endgame. It's helpful to designate roles between alliance teams. This game we use delivery and stacking, but be sure to be comfortable with switching and playing to each robot's strength. We always make sure that everyone, especially the pit crew, knows our robot's full capabilities to help us plan our rounds with other teams in between matches. Shown on the side here, we gave sheets with our abilities to teams just in case what our pit crew said wasn't clear. And of course, there needs to be communication with the drive teams to make sure that everybody knows the plan.
So finally, one section that we want to talk about is coding, because coding is a very important part of the game, and it's important to make sure that the code is easy to navigate and use for different members of the team, especially on a team like ours, which had many different members who would be working on the code at different times. So to do this, we made sure to back up our programs and delete old programs from the phone so that everybody involved in coding the robot would know exactly what changes were made. And while coding, it's important to keep it simple. This season, we did this by using color sensors to detect the stones, and we had different functions for driving and sensing the stones. We used color sensors because we found them to be more consistent than using Vuforia and a lot easier to troubleshoot than the Vuforia on the phone. The functions that we used for driving also made it easier to change the distances that the robot would have to move during the autonomous period so that we could quickly edit our code and modify it to be much more effective.
So our final takeaways from the season are to build with intention and set deadlines, dedicate time for coding and driving practice, make relationships with other teams, and of course, work hard and have fun. Here's our contact information. We'd love for people to reach out.
Thank you, Curiosity, for a great presentation. I hope everyone learned about the importance of driver practice, effective coding, and making team relationships. We also have a poll for everyone to fill out, so it'd be great if you could take a moment of your time. We'll start the polling now, and a box with a couple of questions should show up. And now presenting is Lockdown, Los Angeles Regional's Think Award winner.
In this presentation, we will be going over our team's methods of how we put together our engineering notebook and improvements that your team can implement. I'm Donald, this past season's team captain.
I'm Aaron, one of the co-captains for the upcoming season.
I'm Helena, the other co-captain for the upcoming season.
We are Team Lockdown 8564, a veteran community team based in the San Gabriel Valley. We have graciously been invited to present today because we won the Think Award at the Los Angeles FTC Regional Championship through our work on our engineering notebook.
So what is the engineering notebook and why is it important? The engineering notebook is your key to success. As for award descriptions defined by first, the EN is vital to almost every judge's award, and without it, you can hurt your team's chances.
Some FAQs about the EN. Does it have to be big? No. Always focus on quality over quantity. We always limit ourselves to no more than one binder. Is it just a summary of what we did? No, and we'll get to why. And is it really that important? Definitely. This takes us straight to our first key rule. Show the judges why you made the decisions that you did. The way our team adheres to the first key rule is through our engineering documentation, which takes up the bulk of the engineering notebook. We split it up into 3 parts. Meeting info, where the setting is noted. Documentation, points that detail your meeting. And tasks, the core of your notebook.
Our second key rule is to plan your formatting early in the season. Here is part of an entry from our notebook. You can see how we record and format our meeting info to cover all the essentials concisely. Choose a format that works with you and stick with it. Our third key rule is to use lots of visuals, but supplement them with captions. When we document entries, it's best to stay short and concise and descriptive instead of using too much extraneous content. Here we see the task of this entry correlates to the image, its caption, and the reflection. This is where you can see how we implement the third key rule. The captions help to describe and direct attention to the part of the image that matters, instead of leaving that to be a mystery.
Our fourth key rule is to document everything. Everything is worth documenting. Document things that you're inspired by, the fabrication process, and even failures along the way. Always have a camera ready. We use our phones. Our fifth key rule is to make sure you read and study the engineering notebook guidelines in Game Manual 1. We can't stress enough that the first step to creating a great notebook is to follow the criteria. Here are the components of REN. The ones labeled required and recommended are described in Game Manual 1. The rest are preferred. We've added these sections ourselves in order to enhance our notebook, which we'll briefly share with you.
In our executive summary, we cover all aspects of the team, from the robot to business. It may not describe everything in great detail, but it summarizes everything well. The supplemental CAD section is there to showcase the specific CAD aspects of your robot that weren't previously elaborated on. It helps to showcase your team's experience in designing robot parts and systems.
The supplemental software section details the intricacies and details of the programs and methods your team uses. This can include graphics, flowcharts, and extended explanations. The supplemental business section describes the team's community outreach and other logistics, like team recruitment and management.
So just to recap the 5 key rules to an effective EN. First, show the judges why you made the decision you did. Second, plan your formatting early in the season. Third, use lots of visuals, but supplement them with captions. Fourth, document everything. And fifth, read and study the EN guidelines in Game Manual 1.
One final pointer, tabbing your pages. We recommend tabbing around 6 of your best pages. Make sure you're intentional about the pages you select. Ask yourself, is this a good example of our design process? Does this show well summarized and informative detail? And how well does this communicate what we learned?
So that concludes our presentation. Thank you so much for listening. Feel free to reach out through our social media handles or email. We are more than happy to answer extra questions not covered in the Q&A. This presentation can be found on our website, and the link has been sent in chat.
Thank you, Lockdown, for an informational presentation. If you want to see their tips and tricks on doing well in the engineering notebook and more, check out the link in chat. Next up, we have Wolf Corp, Los Angeles Regional's Connect Award winner.
Hello, everyone. My name is Joshua, and I'm part of Wolf Corp, Team 12525 from Whitney High School. We are a fourth-year team, and our goal this year is to connect first with the STEM community and bring people in communities to first. We accomplished our goal by reaching out to over 100 businesses and hosting over 50 outreaches. This season, we raised over $10,000 through sponsorships and fundraisers. Our robot uses a relatively simple yet effective claw intake system to obtain stones to score. We also use a tape measure mechanism for the various parking tasks. Going back to our claw, we raise and lower it using 2 spools running cascading lift systems. This mechanism may look simple, but it is in fact our 4th iteration of the claw system and allows the robot to quickly grab and lift stones up to 10 levels high. We had a pretty good season this year. At Interleague, we were the Finalist Alliance's first pick, Design Award winner, and also an Inspire runner-up. At LA Championship, we were the 3rd seed Alliance Captain and won a Connect Award, which advances to Worlds. That was unfortunately canceled. Now I'm going to hand the mic over to Eric.
Hi, I'm Eric, and I'm presenting on the Connect Award. Today, we're going to be covering the 6 different steps of the Connect Award category: planning, setting project goals, meeting experts and businesses, documenting, practicing for judges and pit interviews, and preparing for the next season. Starting with number 1, it's important to plan right after kickoff. Produce innovative designs regarding your robot and then research and contact experts and businesses who can help you with your potential robot innovations. For example, when we were brainstorming this year, we met with a JPL engineer who introduced us to Gecko Grip. It's important to send emails out to potential businesses and experts and ask them if they'd be willing to spend some time. You can start by asking family and friends for contacts and expertise. After your team's initial planning phase, it's necessary to set project goals. Create long-term targets that are made of short-term objectives. Try to set consistency goals. For example, this season, we met with 1 expert with a month. It doesn't seem like a lot, but eventually accumulates at the end of the year. With all your goals, have regular checkpoints to avoid delays and cramming towards the end of a deadline. Throughout the season, every team should be attending expert and business events. Experts don't only have to be mechanical engineers, they can be programmers, part of HR, or teachers. This year, our team met with numerous experts, including accountants, military officers, and salesmen. When meeting an expert or STEM-related business, try to contact them regularly. If an expert suggests bigger wheels to move faster, take their advice and invite them back for a follow-up on your wheels. Lastly, try to inspire your mentors and experts about FIRST. This leads us to documentation, where we take notes on the information learned. An important part of recording meetings is writing during the conference, not after. This way, the topics will be fresh in your mind. Focus on the most important aspects, what you got out of the event. Try to take notes on the potential impacts. This also helps with readability for your own team and the judges. Now moving on to judge and pit interviews, where it's time to communicate your accomplishments to the judges. It all starts with preparation. Review and memorize your engineering notebook. Understand how each expert contributed to your robot or team and emphasize to the judges the experts who made a significant impact. Give the impression of actively seeking help from the STEM community and inspiring them about FIRST. To do well in pit, you just have to practice. Lastly, we need to start focusing on the next season. Reflect on the past year, focus on the highs and lows, and brainstorm with your team on how to sustain your past accomplishments and improve your mistakes. Most importantly, take advantage of the off-season to learn something new. To recap it all, our 6 steps are planning, setting project goals, meeting experts and businesses, documenting, practicing for judges and pit interviews, and preparing for the next season. Thank you all for listening, and I hope everyone learned something from our presentation. To view an outline of our presentation, go to tinyurl.com/connectoutline or check the Zoom chat. If anyone has any future questions, please feel free to contact us. Our email is wolfcorprobotics12525@gmail.com, and please don't hesitate to send us a message. Thank you.
Thank you, Wolfcorp, for your presentation. Hopefully, you were all able to learn about their 6-step Connect process and full year plan. Next up, we have Golden Gears, Los Angeles Regional's Innovate Award winner.
Hi guys, I'm Steven from Golden Gears, and we're going to be giving you guys a quick presentation about how we won the Innovate Award, as well as giving you guys a few short tips on maximizing the performance of your robots. So to start things off, we're just going to show a quick video of our robot in action. So one thing you might have noticed in our robot is how quickly we're able to transfer the block to the rear of our robot. And we're able to do this with a unique mechanism that switches our lift motor power between raising the vertical lift and extending out the horizontal lift. We're able to do this with this mechanism called a differential power takeoff. This is a simplified diagram of it. Here, the blue pulley and the yellow pulley represent our robot mounted drive motors. The green pulley up here represents the horizontal slide. The red pulley here, as well as all these gray pulleys, represent free spinning idlers. The gray rectangles here represent drawer slides, and the black lines all represent belt. So first off, when the blue and the yellow pulley spin in opposite directions, the torque on this green pulley cancels out because it's being pulled equally from both sides. Because of this, the green pulley does not move, and it's as if the belt were pinned into place. From here, the mechanism functions very similarly to a traditional continuously rigged lift, and it extends upward. As this pulley is pulled closer to this pulley, This pulley is pulled closer to this pulley, so on and so forth. However, when the blue and the yellow pulleys spin opposite directions in the other direction, they're able to cancel the torque out on this red pulley, pulling the entire mechanism downwards while keeping the green pulley stationary. However, when they spin in the same direction, the torque on this green pulley adds instead of cancels out. And because of that, the green pulley spins while the entire vertical lift stays stationary. So we don't know exactly what won us the Innovate Award at regionals, but from the content of our interviews with the judges as well as our pit interviews, we can be reasonably certain that it was the design and implementation of this mechanism that won us the award. As far as winning the Innovate Award goes, it's extremely important to talk about the not just the creative aspects of your robot, but how they further your strategy, how they give you a competitive advantage over other teams. And obviously, presentation is key. You have to make sure that the person presenting on that aspect of your robot really knows what they're talking about. Ideally, that they were the ones who designed it themselves. So now I'll turn the time over to Christian to talk a little bit about our design process.
For our design process, we used rapid prototyping to quickly move from iteration to iteration by using extrusion and 3D printed parts. We put our designs through rigorous testing, looking for the strengths and the weaknesses to improve the robot. We believe this allowed us to learn from our failed designs and instead produce mechanisms that were successful. Throughout the season, our robot evolved through 4 versions. Since our team was split into 2 mechanical teams, it allowed us to focus on testing and prototyping different parts. We looked to constantly improve and get a better understanding of our designs, which together formulated our late season robot. And now for Ian to talk about our fabrication process.
During the season, we utilized many tools to efficiently fabricate custom machine parts for our robot. For our late season robot, most of the components were custom made. Some of the most important tools that we used were our mill, drill press, bandsaw, and our CNC router, among others. We used CAD programs like Fusion 360 to visualize designs before we brought them to life, giving us a better idea of how the part would work with our robot. CAD allows you to create more precise parts and fabricate them with machines like 3D printers and CNC routers. CAD was especially useful for us as we were able to take our designs straight from our CAD and instantly start fabricating them. Additionally, CAD helps to eliminate human error during fabrication. Even if you do not have these tools, CAD is a great device to use that can help you better understand the part you are designing and how to improve upon it. Overall, custom fabrication helps to provide maximum design freedom, as you do not need to use kit parts. Custom fabrication can also help you make more durable parts out of stronger materials. And now Evan will talk about tips and tricks.
When it comes to the drivetrain, we recommend a strong, robust chassis for a good building foundation, allowing stability from the ground up. We also suggest using clamping hubs to secure the wheels in place instead of tedious and frustrating set screws. A drivetrain ratio of around 20:1 is also very optimal for traveling fast around the field. Supposing you are using mechanism wheels, make sure your robot's weight is evenly distributed across the chassis. We advise this due to uneven weight distribution resulting in uneven strafing, which oftentimes requires complex software correction. When using mechanisms, greasing and cleaning the rollers is strongly recommended, as it enhances overall performance from the wheels. We recommend a couple of useful mechanisms. For rotary motion, we advise ball bearings due to the reduction in friction they create on rotating objects. This creates advantages in speed and durability on rotary components. For linear motion, we use Misumi sliders for their sturdiness, sleekness, and low weight. This is great for linear slides, a very common and helpful component. Regardless of what mechanisms you use, we suggest that you push the mechanisms on your robot to the highest gear ratio possible. Executing actions even just 2 seconds faster can have a drastic impact that can determine the winner of a match. To calculate this, you can use the driven to driver gear ratio formula. Then you can test to find what is most effective. I'm going to pass the mic to Ian for our final 2 slides.
In order to optimize your bot's performance, we recommend using a powerful battery charger that can charge all of your batteries to 14.8 volts, as well as orbital or planetary gearboxes for maximum efficiency. This season, we discovered that good execution is better than good ideas. We recommend prioritizing building something that works. Don't worry too much about what that something is, just try to improve upon it once you know that it does in fact work. Simplicity is paramount. Try to minimize moving parts. Our bot had 14 total, as well as points of catastrophic failure. By minimizing these points, your bot will be a lot stronger overall and much easier to repair and maintain.
Thank you guys so much for listening, and thank you to Wolfcoy for making this all happen. If you guys have any questions for us, you can contact us at the following places.
Thank you, Golden Gears, for your great presentation. I hope everyone knows a bit more about how their differential lift mechanism and drivetrain works, as well as how they build the robot. Additionally, they also had many good tips on designing robots, and so hopefully everyone could pick up on those as well. Now presenting is Simi Valley Robotics, Los Angeles Regional's Design Award winner.
Hi, I'm Samantha from Team 6282, Simi Valley Robotics, here to talk to you about the things we did that we believe contributed to us winning the Design Award this year at LA Regionals. First, a little about us. Our team was founded in a garage in 2012 and has since moved to Simi Valley High School, which all of our current members attend. This year we had 9 members competing. Only 2 of the 9 people had had any experience in robotics and FTC, so we were basically starting from the beginning. With lots of time, trial, and error, we ended with a Design Award winning robot, which makes me really excited to see what next year could bring. In the first game manual, the Design Award is described as industrial design at its best. The robot should have design elements that function well and are found to be aesthetically pleasing by the judges. There should be industrial design elements incorporated into the solutions to the problems in the way, which basically means that you thought out your design process and what you wanted to accomplish before you started building. The robot should also have a clean look, be decorative, and express team creativity. While it is important for the robot to look nice, it also needs to function well, be durable, and be able to withstand the gameplay. It should also be able to efficiently address and complete different aspects of the game. When you go into brainstorming and designing different parts of your robot, ask yourself, what do we want to build? What purpose is it going to serve in the middle of matches and on the field? Where can we find inspiration? We found it's beneficial to brainstorm ideas for each task and each part for your robot individually. While brainstorming, no idea is a bad idea. It may seem completely ridiculous at the time, but it might spark an idea in someone else's head that can be something more realistic and manageable for the team. Lastly, think about how your idea would achieve some aspect of the game. There are many different factors and things that could go wrong, so you want to make sure your robot can address them as well as possible. In order to be considered for the Design Award and all the other awards, you have to turn in an engineering notebook. Some good things to have in there for the judge to see would be detailed CAD images and drawings. You should also show the industrial design principles and how they display a balance between form, function, and aesthetics. The robot should distinguish itself from the others by showing unique aesthetic and functional design. Most of all, the judges should be able to see that your design process was well defined and thought out, like the function and inspiration put into your robot. How to get there. Show your design process and the steps you took to get there. Think about the functional design of the robot. Every part serves a purpose. Think about whether 2 things can be done with the same part, and consider the frame or chassis of the robot to be a place of support for the different mechanisms. Aesthetics are important as well. The robot should look like it can do its job as well as actually do it. The cable should be organized, motors and chains should be covered and not in the way of the wheels or other moving parts that could cause something to go wrong. Consider using polycarbonate for your robot and make sure your number plates look nice, be well thought out, and maybe cover parts of your robot that could be damaged during a match. Once again, your robot should be durable and able to withstand a head-on collision should one occur during a match. Every part on your robot should address the game challenges efficiently and help you score more points. A great way to create or alter parts for your robot would be to utilize different CAD programs. We had a lot of luck with Fusion 360 and SolidWorks, but there are also many different ones that could work for you and your team. Thank you for having us in the showcase. If you have any questions or want to reach out to us, here's some great ways to contact us. Thank you.
Thank you, Simi Valley Robotics, for a great presentation. Their outline on the Design Award really covers all the aspects, from what it is to how to do it. Next up, we have JavaBots, Los Angeles Regional's Innovate Award winner.
Hi, we're the JavaBots. I'm Grace Riverpan. I'm the team captain.
Hi, I'm Dominique, and I'm the build captain. We are a Girl Scout affiliated team and a sister team to Rock and Roll Robots. Girl Scouts funds our travel and contributes to our budget, and in return, we donate portions of our fundraising money to them. We are also a community team, so we have girls from 8 different school districts, and we reach out and recruit mentors ourselves. Because we go to different schools, we only have about 9 to 12 hours a week in our workshops, so we have to use our time effectively. Here's an overview of our season. At ILT, we were in 21st place in robot performance and won First Inspire at regionals. We were in 7th place and won Motivate. For our team's organization, we have a Gantt chart and a meeting minutes spreadsheet. The Gantt chart is for planning everything that needs to get done between competitions as phases, and the meeting minutes are for planning what needs to get done at each meeting. For member contributions, all members choose to either contribute to mechanical or software and are split into groups of 2 to 3 for each task. We do the same thing with outreach, where everybody splits into outreach groups of 2 to 3. Everyone is also responsible for filling out their own EN entries for whatever they're working on. We have a universal EN formatting system that color codes sections into planning, prototyping, design process, and finalization. We write down our objectives for that meeting and reflections for the changes and decisions we make. Here are some of our EN samples.
Uh, 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration is our outreach slogan this year. The idea is that our outreaches are the 1% inspiration a girl needs to get into robotics. Education, empowerment, and engineering are our outreach categories. For education, we contacted Title I school districts to establish robotics pathways. For empowerment, we hosted workshops about FLL and how to start an FTC team for Girl Scouts. For engineering, we invited JPL engineers to be a review board for us. We presented our design and they gave feedback. We tried to host mostly our own outreaches in order to make a lasting impact on participants that come. For example, if we had a booth at a science fair instead, participants wouldn't interact with us for long and we wouldn't be able to host hands-on activities. One of the Motivate requirements is to have a plan in the EN with team goals and how to reach them. This is the workshop outreach notebook, as an example of how we set specific goals for ourselves and documented the planning. It also shows the contributions of each member. Another requirement is to get people involved in STEM who weren't before, and founding teams is a great way to do that. It's also important to follow up with teams you founded before. Thanks a lot to Wolf Corp who invited us. We hope you enjoyed our presentation.
Thank you, JavaBots, for an amazing presentation. Their breakdown on team structure, engineering notebook, and outreach was very informative. Lastly, we have MoVal Robotics, Los Angeles Regional's Finalist Alliance Captain.
Hello, we are Team 17600 MoVal Robotics, winner of the Regional Finalist Alliance Captain, Promote Award, and Judges Award.
Organizing work between members is essential to working together as a full functioning team, especially because our team is so small. Organization helps us to make sure that we are able to complete the improvements to our robot that we set out to do. We use a system of checks and balances to ensure that our builders, programmers, and drivers are able to work both together and separately. We have 2 programmers, 2 drivers, and 3 builders on our team.
Our robot's name is Joanna, or Jo for short. Our team has grown a strange attachment to our robot because she was our very first prototype and our only prototype. Because our club was established later into the year compared to other teams, we didn't have much time to create a draft of her. We were also at a disadvantage because we lacked driver practice and knowledgeable of the tactics that were used. We were essentially learning as we advanced.
Building our robot. MoVal Robotics started in late October, so we missed the initial kickoff of the season. We didn't create a prototype before our current robot, so all improvements have been made to our competition robot. Diversity of design is important in order to create the best robot for the field, so ping-ponging ideas off of each other is important to the design process. We have been consistently altering and changing our design, and it has only improved the overall functionality of the robot.
For our structure, our robot starts with a simple basic base and a basic claw. The base was built as a yield base, so that we can fit our claw mechanism in the middle space. The back of our Joanna is a flower plate which help protecting the base and the house of our batteries and hub. Our base was built solidly using AlphaGenesis channels and screws to attach our Joanna together to make sure that she has the strongest support during unexpected hits. For our claw, we changing from using dry claw to weather strip to increase our fraction when holding blocks. One special thing about our claw is using multiple rotation to adapt to different direction of the block so that we don't have to find challenging when picking up our block. Joanna claw can rise up high for approximately 6 block or 5 block with a SKYSTONE on top.
We are the only robotics team in our district. We've had the opportunity to work with our winning alliance from Interlakes, that team being Dynamite, as well as some teams from Heritage High School. On the left, you can see a picture of us working on a Saturday with Team Dynamite prior to regionals.
We went through a lot of issues with programming autonomous, such as getting the encoders and color sensor to work properly. We always found a way to solve these issues by checking if the robot's battery is low, if there are loose wires, and checking the code where the error is occurring. Using the encoders, we can tell the motors how many ticks to turn instead of guessing on moving with the time limit, which wasn't very accurate. Using the color sensor, the robot can see if it's looking at a SKYSTONE by sensing its RGB values. We had one more sensor in testing phase, which is the built-in gyroscope that can tell us the 3D angle orientation of the robot to have more accurate turns and better strafing, but we weren't able to get it working before regionals.
So one of the most important aspects of the game is strategy. Prior to every match, we would strategize with our alliance to discuss who goes where and who does what. We can stack up to 5 and sometimes 6 stones, or 5 stones plus a capstone. As well as the capability of being able to stack, we are also capable of acting as a delivery robot. Due to our robot's ability to strafe around the field at tremendous speeds, we are able to quickly deliver blocks to our team member, especially in any direction. Due to the claw's 270-degree turning motion, we are able to deliver the blocks at any angle to meet the needs of our team members. This dual functionality is necessary in the event our alliance stalls or is incapacitated for the rest of the round.
Thank you very much for inviting us. It was an honor to present for you. Please check out our Instagram, MoVal.robotics, or reach out to us via email at MoValRobotics@gmail.com.
Thank you, MoVal, for the great presentation, ending it off on a strong note. Hopefully, everyone was able to learn about their team and robot. Because of the number of the people at this showcase, we'll be able to answer only a couple questions. So I see TBD from Israel has their hand raised. I'm unmuting now. Please feel free to ask your question.
Hello. So I was just wondering, for really any of the teams, how early before the season starts or just during the season do you start your outreach?
We actually start planning our outreach right after the season ends because the off season is the best time for outreach. During the season, it's really hectic, and the builders usually want to focus on the robot. The programmers want to focus on our code too. So we do a lot of the planning during the off season, and then execute some outreaches like during the season. And then it's also important to keep in mind like when teammates are available. So like at the beginning of the season, you might want to have the programmers do some outreaches because that's when they're least busy, and the builders are busy. And then later on in the season, when it's more like programming and driver practice, you might want to have the builders do outreaches instead.
We try to get all of our outreaches done before ILT, so we'll be able to put them in our judging presentation. And so we don't have outreaches to do between ILT and regionals. So we try to get them done before ILT.
Thank you for the answer, JavaBots. I hope that answered your question. I see that Amanda Sullivan has her hand raised, so I'm unmuting her and feel free to ask your question.
Hey, what's up, guys? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I want to know what you guys want out of the next coming season because of like all the different changes that might be occurring. Mostly for the LA teams, or just what you guys expect or what you guys think will happen.
We're talking about this actually. For the poll, we can actually share the results. So it was the first question was for the upcoming season. What type of tournament would you prefer to attend? And about 100 people, or a little over 100 people, voted. And so it was 10% towards a virtual tournament, and then but 60% of them wanted in person, and 30% wanted combination. And the second question was if asking about team showcases. So they also, about half of them said that they're interested in doing showcases as well.
Is that what you guys want though? Like for your tournaments, like you want to be virtual or in person? Like how judging gonna work, stuff like that.
Wait, can you say your question again?
Like it's probably going to be different, with everything going on. But like, does any of the teams here have any suggestions or like things that they want to get out of this season? Because it's going to be not the normal way, Does anyone have?
I think for our team, and like we just like whatever season, however it runs, virtually, in person, combination, or whatever, we just hope it could like still replicate like the feelings of the regular FTC seasons like in the past, and like keep it kind of similar to have all of those like alliance selection, all of the 2v2s on the 12-foot playing field. Like we just hope it'd be something similar as to what we've been doing the past couple of years.
Yeah.
And someone from Second Rebellion said they want a water game.
I mean, we all do. So, I mean, I think they're going to announce the new game
in a couple of days, right?
Well, they're changing it. So it's being changed from the original. I think everything's going to be announced next month.
I heard about like there's a teaser on the 26th. Will that be still released, or is that like scrapped?
Oh, yeah. I think they are releasing like a teaser, but like all the new changes are going to be released.
Okay.
Look forward to that.
You could probably look at what MTI did for their competition, maybe model that somehow. I don't know too much about it, but I think that they had like virtual, like proctored robot skills tests. So that might be something that could work.
I competed in it if anyone wants to know more about it. But...
Oh yeah, how did that go? Was it good, or was it kind of ineffective?
Yeah, it was pretty good. I don't think it would be, their rules like were very strict, especially for like cameras and things like that on your field, and I just don't think that's feasible for most teams. Like I don't think that's something they could implement widespread, but I think for like smaller off-season tournaments like that, it worked pretty well. And like we had robot last weekend, and then we had judging this morning. So they kind of split it up across more time, and then the award ceremony's tomorrow. So.
Did Gluten Free win?
Gluten Free's not competing.
Oh, I thought they competed in MTI. My bad.
Yeah, well, it sounds like the skill test or whatever, that's similar to, I think, more like Vex IQ or Vex, because I do think they have some that kind of thing in there. I know FLL, it works a lot better for them because this or next season they're going to be going virtual, so they're going to do like the cameras and stuff too. But I mean, I don't know about FTC like during like middle of the season kind of thing. I know you're saying like it'll work for kind of off season smaller competitions, but like what Wolf Corp said, I do prefer having kind of the same feel of kind of being there with a lot of people. But ultimately, my preferences will be overshadowed by whether the pandemic softens up or gets worse. So.
Yeah, definitely. So there's also a couple questions through chat, and so Romy Bendev from the Krakens asked, within the video we saw a lot of nice team sweatshirts, and they're asking, where do most teams get their sweatshirts or get sponsored from them? And so For Wolf Corp, at least, my team, we kind of just design it on some websites you can just Google around, and we can just make it there. And I think it's around, if we get maybe like 20 of them, 15 of them, it might be around like 20 to or 15 to $20 for a shirt, and like maybe 20, 25 for a sweater. But do any other teams have any experience with like making their shirts and things like that?
There's a lot of online places that you can use. Just look up custom t-shirts and you'll get like 50 different sites to do it.
All right.
Usually works.
Okay. I also see that Gong Invaders Riley is raising a hand. I'll unmute you. Feel free to ask your question.
Yeah, so how are other teams going to be doing like outreach with the COVID restrictions? Because there's not really much that we can do in terms of like face-to-face outreach with the community.
Yeah, definitely. So does anyone want to answer that?
So for us at least, what we've been trying to do like during this like stay at home lockdown is we've been like helping our local community. So recently we've been working hard and we've been making face masks, like low cost face shields, and we even got some of our other teams in the area to help us make them, and we've been donating that to various areas around LA.
Yep. All right. Jason also has his hand raised, so I hope that answered your question, Riley, and I'll unmute Jason right now.
Yeah, hi. First of all, for all teams, it's been a thrill to watch everyone compete. This is the first year I've been able to go to the events, and it's just terrific. I kudos to all the teams and all participants, but I had a particular question for Team Torch. And Team Torch, what was so unique about this team and what was so inspirational, I don't know if anyone has seen the movie Hoosiers, but Hickory High had a very, very small high school, and this is a team that had 3 participants, 3 team members. Can you guys speak to how and what made you successful given the small numbers that you had?
Yeah, so essentially what our main plan was because of the restrictions of our team size, because we're only actually a team of 3 people. So there's a lot of things that we really couldn't do, like, because most of the time if we were actually going to be doing stuff like the engineering notebook or outreach, it would be taking up a lot of resources from the robot. So in terms of that, we mostly had to focus on the robot and noticing like by game plan, like watching videos and, looking at how everyone else was playing and what was the most efficient strategy. We found that we actually were, what's something that a lot of people were doing that actually seemed to be working with having one stacker and one deliverer. So, and was focusing on being a delivery bot and basically making it so that we're as the fastest possible and delivering up to like 18, 19, 20 stones in one game really, cemented us as one of those teams that seemed very desirable for, some teams that have high stackers. So I think that's what really made us had success, and our Auton as well, which I really think that really helped as well. Having the getting good Auton, a lot of the cemented some points as well. So I think that those 2 combinations, along with more tightly bonded team, because we're so small, we have a bigger connection with all of our teammates because we're everyone knows each other really personally. So I think those factors really help with our how our success this season.
Yeah, great answer, Team Torch. Thanks a lot. And I hope that answered your question, Jason. You still have your hand raised, so maybe you have something else to say. Or
no, that was it. I'll lower my hand. Thanks for the answer. Appreciate it.
Well, there's actually a question from Second Rebellion to I think Amanda, and it was asking if all the changes are released, or it says if all the changes are released 26, will the game manual part 1 be dropping later, or will it still be dropping at the same time?
I think they're still working on it. So like, I don't know when they're releasing it to teams because of like, I don't think it's worked out fully. So they're not even sure themselves. But I think Game Manual 1 will have like the new description of like the awards and like the new rank order and like what the expectations are. And I think they're gonna release like, because different parts of the country are open, so they're gonna like say like if your location is mostly gonna have to no school, that's one version, but then other parts of the country are gonna be very open, so they have they're gonna run pretty typical of what's the normal competition. So like LA, we run in leagues, which is not common amongst the country, so we are gonna operate a little differently regardless. But yeah, that's I think what's gonna be released. But they have switched up a lot of things. So some of these changes that were gonna happen, like regardless of COVID, like they were gonna get changed no matter what. They were changing already.
All right. Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. There's also a question from Lek from chat, and it was asking lockdown how their notebook differed from or how they improved their notebook from previous years.
That is a great question. So also if any of my teammates want to chime in, feel free to. Before the season started, we really decided to take a look at our notebook and find all the faults from previous seasons, and we did a very big, you could say like a redesign, both like aesthetic and content-wise. And if you remember from our presentation, we had these 5 key rules, which we adhered to very strongly this season. And yeah, with the inclusion of our supplementary sections, we think that allowed us to help stand out in the eyes of the judges.
Great. Yeah, so I hope that answered your question. It seems like Taco Tech also has their hand raised, so I'll unmute them right now.
Hello. Actually, I just wanted to say thank you to the robotics teams who helped provide the mask and the face shields. I work with the regional center, San Gabriel Pomona Regional Center, and I believe last week, Walnut High School donated 500 face shields. Yeah. Anyways, I just wanted to let you guys know that if you are looking for ways to be involved in the community, it's not over yet in terms of COVID-19, and we're very, very, very grateful. I'm an occupational therapist and I work with children, so there's no way I can practice social distancing when I do therapy. So I just wanted to say thank you, because that's a lot of face shields. Thank you.
All right. Well, that's great. That's great.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Like, what do you guys think was the best memory of this season? Like, I know I've seen a lot of you, and I'm going to assume winning an award, but if there's a better moment.
I think for Wolf Corp, winning Connect Award was definitely really fun. But I think what was even more crazy was, I think it was a regionals game. We lost by 1 point, and that was pretty nuts.
So, that was a good match. That was a good match. Okay, yeah. Good.
I think for the Marlbots, at least, our favorite memory, or at least mine personally, would probably be at regionals. Our robot broke dramatically in the last match, and we managed to pull it together enough that it actually ended up aiding our alliance in winning the competition. So we were all very proud of how our robot ended up holding together, even though it was mostly held together by some tape.
Yeah, zip ties are the best way to go. So this one goes to root -1, and it asks, what do you think made you guys stand out compared to other teams?
Yeah, so we highlighted a little bit about this in our presentation, but so the big thing is our handwritten engineering notebook. So that tells the story from day one of the season until normally the day before Worlds of exactly what happened, and all the way from our initial requirements to our final design, our CAD, everything like that. And so I think like you could have that in a not handwritten form, but I think especially to the judges in Houston, having that notebook be handwritten just shows the amount of time you put into it and how much you think about everything that goes into the notebook. Because we like when you handwrite, it's really hard to just like undo or go back later and change it, right? And so you really have to show the whole process, work on it throughout the whole year. And I think that really stands out to the judges. Also, like I talked about, the presentations in Houston, they're not super long, right? So in our, if you watch our judging presentation video on our website, you'll see that we're very concise about what we say, but we make sure we're saying what the judges want to hear, what ticks all the boxes, so they know that we're a really strong team that they're going to want to come talk to in the pits, and that gets us on all of those lists for all of the awards. Because as you guys know, if you want to be in Inspire contention, you need to be on the top list for at least 4 awards. So we split our presentation evenly, and we make sure we're getting as much information to them as possible, so they want to come to our pit to learn more.
Yeah, that sounds great. And I'll keep on going down the list. So to Marlbots, someone asked, how do you inspire girls for participating in STEM? And what message would you give for girls that want to participate in a robotics team but are afraid of?
Hi, so yes, as we mentioned in our presentation, we are a team from an all-girls school, and we basically just try to set a good example for all the other girls teams out there, just showing people that even if you are a girls team and you are in STEM, and people might think that because you are a girl in STEM, you are less than, we just try to set an example and tell them that that is not true. Any expectations that are held against you are expectations and you should not meet them. I think that, could you repeat the second part of the question?
Yeah, what message would you give for girls that want to participate in a robotics team but are afraid of?
I guess one message that I would like to send to girls who want to participate in a robotics team but are scared of is that do what you want as long as it makes you happy, because ultimately the fears that you have about being a girl in a STEM field are fears, and it's kind of hard because being a girl in STEM, there's a lot of things that people are going to say about you. But ultimately, people only try to bring you down because they are below you, and you can always prove them wrong.
I think also the Marlbots is a really good example of a team that has a lot of different types of people. So for example, we have a girl on our team that does dance, and people do theater. And so it really shows other girls who are kind of interested in STEM that they can do both. They don't have to give up dancing in order to do robotics, and they can do the things that are normally considered girly and do robotics at the same time.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So to Team Torch, there's a question. What are some advices for making a good alliance with other teams?
One of the biggest things that you need to look for when you're making an alliance selection with another team is how they complement you. Like for us, one of our main and biggest strengths was actually how we delivered our stones. So we were looking for teams that actually had very, very high stackers so that we could feed them consistently and quickly so that they're able to stack high and make a big point production. So I think that when you're looking for an alliance with someone else, you have to make sure that they complement your teams and your play styles with each other, so that you don't just have something that actually contradicts your teams and your play style, and that could decrease your point production. So, yeah.
All right. Yep. Thanks. So, a question to Whitney High is, what is your favorite part of the efforts that led you up to getting first runner-up Inspire?
At least for me, I think our favorite part, at least my favorite part as captain, is kind of like how much effort we put into it. What I do want to emphasize is that we don't always focus on, okay, this is the exact things we need to do to win Inspire on a team, right? Like that shouldn't always be your goal. That just is going to give you tunnel vision. At least for us, it's our priority. The best thing you can do is develop your team over the season, be the best team that you can be in all three sections, the main core sections of FTC. Like for mechanical, our goal this year was, last year's robot wasn't very good, so we decided to do some heavy emphasis on CAD training over the summer and improve our mechanical section there. So now we have a really good robot. For our programming, even though our programming is pretty decent in our region, we still constantly try to find ways to improve it. So we've been working on our code for like 4 years now, and we're still looking for ways we can improve our code to stay ahead of the game. And even for our community outreach, we're always, of course, looking for new places to demo at, new schools, new connections, or even new teams we could mentor and such. So kind of that improving in all sections and having people who are committed to a cause on your team really helps develop the team fully.
Yep,
Yeah, I
definitely.
agree
All right.
with Ian that one of the biggest benefits that led us to winning awards at regionals was basically the amount of effort we put in. And we didn't, like Ian said, we didn't really do the work so we could win the award, but we just did it so that we could be the best team that we could be. And then the judges and the pit judges realized that we were nominated for that award, and that was kind of the part that was most fulfilling for us.
No, definitely. So, talking about improving, someone asked AlphaGenesis if you guys could improve any or redo anything or improve anything that you guys did this year, what would it be?
I think if we were to improve something on our team, it would probably be getting more of a head start, because this year our team was pretty new. So I guess we didn't have enough time to work with the team like beforehand. So I think that next year, or like in the future, we should like have an earlier start and work together, like work as a team more, because I think that building that connection and building that bond is really important. And you can really see like the success of other teams through how they work together and how they collaborate.
So, for curiosity, is there an overriding mantra you live by while analyzing a game? Some say it's all about speed, points be damned. Do you find this true as well, or what do you think?
Well, definitely one of our team mottos is turn it on, because there's been several times where we've forgotten to turn our robot on during competitions. But like all jokes aside, I do think something that we always try to do like during competitions is just to stay calm and sort of collected and not let whatever's going during the day get to our head.
I think another one of our mottos when we analyze the game is, well, we have a very elaborate process for developing our ideas and our robots. So we always like to make sure everybody has a say, because some people have really interesting ideas and ways of looking at different aspects of the game. Everybody gets to share because we all have different perspectives.
For lockdown, the question is, what is your process each meeting for ensuring your design and build process is documented completely? And so how do you like organize your, and another question is, how do you organize, or we can go one by one, I guess. So what is your process each meeting for ensuring your design and build process is documented completely?
So I believe for our build and design processes, the way we document them, because sometimes we don't actually communicate in person, we'll often use our messaging system. And a good way to document that, or well, I guess make sure that's recorded, is we'll sometimes draw images in it to express our ideas, so we can make sure that that's recorded. And it's a good idea, so it's not just like on paper and we can lose it, it's kind of stored in a digital platform that we can pull from later. And during build meetings, I think a good way to do it is also write on whiteboards, so you kind of have something to reference and take a picture of it. So you're not always trying to like, because sometimes you might not be able to go directly to your EM and you have to wait, or you might be in the middle of a build session, so you have to do it at the end of the meeting. I think a good way to make sure you get your ideas down is to write them somewhere, like on a whiteboard, maybe a paper, make sure you don't lose the paper, and other ways to make sure you don't lose your ideas. And also taking photos is a really good way to make sure you don't lose your ideas and your process. That's kind of really important to show, to show what you did and not just write about it.
So to Wolf Corp, someone asked, what was the best way to connect with professionals?
When connecting with professionals and experts and mentors, and first, there's several things that you have to consider. So something you have to think about if you want to do better in the Connect Award is reaching all of the experts you can in different fields. And that's important because then you get to see all of the different opportunities that are presented to you after you leave robotics and you put your STEM skills to work. And then when connecting with experts, you should always keep in contact with ones from previous seasons. That way you can build on information you've learned and they can see the development of your team. But it's also important to get new ones so that you can see different perspectives and so that they might catch something that others haven't. And then after meeting experts, your team members should document every single thing that they learn so that you can put together all of the information and you won't lose track of anything you can or need to improve on your team. And then you can also put it in the engineering notebook to show the judges how you've developed through the team with the help of experts.
One way to connect with them is to reach out through connections that you have with your parents or like just searching online. You never know when you might find an opportunity like that. And then when connecting with professionals and experts, it's best to keep in mind what you want to achieve with the meeting with them. Know what you want to learn, draft up questions that you might want to ask. So it's always a good idea to check out their expertise, find a job description on who you're inviting to meet with your team. And like Connor said, it's always good to document what you learn in case you ever invite them back so that you can show them what you improved on or maybe what you didn't change and how you've taken up their advice.
Oh, all right, so great answer from Wolf Corp. We'll keep on going. So for Golden Gears, there's a question. So for people who aren't familiar with like such advanced kind of like mechanisms like your lift, how do you suggest them to like learn new, or how do you suggest them to kind of learn these things and try to improve the robot as well?
Like we said, kind of in our presentation, like simplicity is paramount. So when we created the entire lift idea, that didn't come like right off the bat. Like we started off just thinking doing a normal lift, and then we experimented with some different ideas. We also talked with a lot of professionals, other teams on Discord, on social media, and books too. We have this book with a bunch of different mechanisms. It was all just kind of a cumulative thing from everything, where we just took in information from multiple different sources and people. But I guess to create something like that, you just kind of have to like slowly work up to it. I mean, no one's going to know how to do something complex right off the bat. So for us, it took a lot of trial and error and testing. It took a while to make it work, but I guess if you're trying to approach a mechanism like that, you should probably, start with making it simple in the basics and analyzing what you have to do first rather than going for complexity first.
All right, Katie from Curiosity, your hand's raised now. I'll unmute you. Maybe you might have just, if you have any questions or anything.
Hi. I was wondering for a team who used odometry this past year, what tips you would have for getting started with it?
Well, this year, we actually tried implementing odometry wheels, but I was just wondering if you guys are talking about the actual physical parts that go on the bottom or just localization as a whole?
Software part, I think.
Oh, okay. So for the software part, we did a little bit of research online and we found like some other teams had done similar things, and we used that and tried using math on our own to try to figure out how to use the three wheels in order to find our position. We eventually did figure out how to use them properly, but the actual physical encoders that we had on our odometry wheels started chipping on the Sky Bridge, so we actually had to scrap that this year, but hopefully we can use it again next year.
I just have a question for any of the team members that have FLL experience. So if you could share and tell some of the FLL people that are joining the chat how your FLL experience helped you FTC?
So I did FLL for 4 years before going into FTC, and I think the biggest thing for me, so FLL, so I was a programmer on my FLL team. I'm a programmer on my FTC team, so it definitely built the foundation of programming for me, which I thought was good. But I think what FLL especially did for me was my communication skills and presenting skills. I think those skills transferred into FTC, and specifically the judging room in FTC, really well. And so I think getting that technical knowledge, but also those soft skills at a really early age really helped me and helped me transition into FTC, where we could be very competitive.
To Simi Valley, they're asking, when you're designing your robot, do you approach functionality first or innovative design first?
I would say we go for functionality first, because it needs to be able to work and like work well in the game and be able to do the different parts of the game and maybe different little aspects like turning, grabbing the SKYSTONEs. It should be able to function first, I believe, rather than going for innovation, because if it doesn't work, then you can't have.
Question to JavaBots, and it was what was the best way to connect with your community?
I would say that the best way for our community was our workshops, because we got to connect with all these little girls from, I mean, not little, but like younger Girl Scouts from a local community, and just hear what they had to say about challenges and where they lived as well. So we know in FLL, part of their competition is coming up with solutions to a local problem. So we guided them through an exercise about that, and we had several girls who had some really insightful comments about challenges like a low budget in their local schools, things like that. So I thought that was a really meaningful experience.
To MoVal, someone asked, what were the key design elements of your robot that helped it be on the winning alliance?
What I think was one of the most important aspects of our design was the ability of our claw to be able to grab stones from any direction. In the presentation, we talked about how our claw was able to rotate 270 degrees, and as well as speed. So as well as mentioned with dual functionality in a presentation, we were able to act as both the delivery robot or the stacking robot. And so that really helped us because we were very flexible with our teammates. So we were able to switch roles whenever possible. And so I think that really did help us in competition.
Okay, great. So that's about it for presentations and Q&As. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can go to tinyurl.com/FTC Showcase feedback to tell us. We would also like to thank everyone who came today. Thank you to Root -1, Marlbots, Team Torch, Whitney High, AlphaGenesis, Curiosity, Lockdown, Golden Gears, Simi Valley, JavaBots, MoVal, and Wolf Corp for doing such a great job in providing this opportunity for others to learn. Thank you to the audience members for being a great audience, and thank you to FIRST for bringing us together during these times. As a community, learning, interacting, and checking in with each other will hopefully be a better ending for this tumultuous season. To find presenters, presentations, resources, and contact info, visit tinyurl.com/FTC Showcase links. If you have any unanswered questions, make sure to go to tinyurl.com/FTC Q&A, and we'll post responses to those questions shortly. You can contact us here at Wolf Corp Robotics 12525@gmail.com. And as always, stay safe and keep on learning. So goodbye, everyone, and have a great Saturday evening.